Well, my talk from yesterday up to the lookout seems to have ruffled a few feathers, folks. It was deleted from YouTube within 90 minutes of me posting it. Interesting how that works. They didn't like what I was saying on that one. I won't bother repeating what I was saying. The video is still available on BitChute for those who would like to go and watch it. Link will be below. Suffice to say, a lot of people seem to be waking up to what's going on, folks. There's been a huge outcry from a lot of people, which has been really, really good to see. You know, we've had Roger Stone, one of President Trump's advisors, say that he believes that Bill Gates may have created the coronavirus in order to microchip the world. Interesting, you know, this is one of Bill Gates' advisors. I mean, one of Donald Trump's advisors that's saying this. And you look at Dr. Fauci. Dr. Fauci is right in bed with Bill Gates, so it's an interesting situation they've created, folks. And Bill Gates, my God, hasn't he been copping a flogging, which has been great to see. Like, the video that was posted, on the Microsoft YouTube channel of the new great artist in the world, which happened to be Mariana Abramovic. I mean, what was he thinking? They're just going to promote this? I mean, here's Bill Gates saying he wants to save the world with his vaccinations, and he's promoting Marina Abramovic. I mean, what's he trying to say with this? Oh, by the way, I'm a Satanist as well. I mean, this woman, folks, I mean, this woman who creates paintings out of semen and menstrual blood and creates banquets where the food is like people that you hack to pieces. And I mean, oh my God, this sick wench. And this is who Bill Gates and Microsoft are trying to promote as the great new artist in the world. Wonderful stuff, wonderful stuff. I wanted to see the attacks he's been getting on his Instagram. His last post on Instagram or something had 67,000 dislikes on the post. Thousands upon thousands of comments of people calling for his arrest for crimes against humanity. The Marina Abramovic Microsoft ad that was on their channel, the last time I looked at it, it had something like 548 likes or something and 91,000 dislikes. And it's since been deleted. I think they just couldn't handle the amount of flack they were getting, so they deleted the entire video. But remarkable stuff, folks. Like I said, we've got Roger Stone speaking out. The Surgeon General of the United States is calling for a complete end to the lockdown and a reopening of the United States. Interesting stuff, folks, and the globalists aren't going to like that. But, you know, the thing is that I think a lot of the so-called elites, the lower-level politicians, a lot of the people who've been up there and thinking that their money and influence actually meant something, are now seeing the spectre of mandatory vaccinations and everything Mr. Gates wants to do, and they're realizing that, hang on a minute, I didn't sign up for this. I mean, you know, all of their money and perceived power, at the end of the day, it doesn't really mean anything. A lot of the low-level pop stars and all this stuff, even the high-level pop stars, I mean, Miley Cyrus, Steve Vai, all sorts of people have been all subject to the same thing. You know, they're all under lockdown. You've got pop stars and very famous people making videos from their home because they can't go outside because they're under lockdown. And there's nothing they can do about it. And they're realizing that they're all cannon fodder as well. Well, not even cannon fodder, just fodder for the coming famine that's being created. Because that's really what's going on here, folks. When you look at the world and you look at how the world works, famine and starvation has always been a favorite tool of Bolsheviks. Just look at Bolshevism. The people who run this world, this is the same people. The Bolsheviks never went away. The fact that not many people know about Bolshevism is a very good indication of the fact that these are the people who are still in charge of the world. That's just the way it is, folks. And a lot of people don't realise that. A lot of people just don't know how the world really works. But yeah, they didn't like my video yesterday very much, it would seem. Like I said, 90 minutes and it was deleted. There is a lot of good stuff coming out though, folks. Dr.SHIVA, I can't remember his last name, but Dr.SHIVA absolutely nailed it in a report that he put out just a couple of days ago. There's another really good documentary called Out of the Shadows, or Out of Shadows, which I'm sure you've probably seen. It's gone viral. It had 1.1 million views in the first 24 hours. Last time I looked, it had something like 4 million views, 3 or 4 million views. And it's put out by a mainstream guy, a stunt guy. And it's done from quite a mainstream perspective. It's a great one to show your family and your parents and your friends, people who may be asleep. It's one of those sort of documentaries. It's not really made for people who are awake already. There's nothing in there that we didn't already know. But hearing it come from a stuntman, and the way the film is done in such a professional manner, it's a really good film to reach people with. Out of Shadows. I'll put a link below. I'm sure many of you have probably seen it. I've had a lot of people send me the link. I did watch it on the day it came out, and it had, let's say, like 900,000 views. Oh no, it had, I think, 300,000 views, 380,000 views or something when I watched it. And like I checked it about 6 or 7 hours later, and it had 1.1 million views, and that was still in the first day. So then I checked it again, I think the next day, or 3 days later, or 2 days later, I think on the third day, it had 3.3 million views. So getting about 1 million views a day, that's pretty good. And it's a great documentary to show people. Like I said, it's one for your parents. It's one for people who don't really know what's going on, you know, and need some information. Something else that I've been doing, folks, you know, a lot of people write to me and they say, what can I do that's going to make a difference? Well, something I've been doing, and something that I mentioned on the video yesterday, and again, I'll put a link below to that, to a BitChute version of it. Something I've been suggesting people do, and something I've been doing, is I've been handing out notes to people. You know, when I go into a petrol station or a service station or, you know, anywhere really. Oops, I'm getting myself all over the place on this camera, folks. But what I've been doing, I'll see if I can find one. And you could do this. I mean, you can get yourself a sheet of A4 paper and you can cut it into 6 sections and you can just write on it. I won't even tell you what to write because the censors may pick it up if I say the C word. But I'll just hold this note up. See if you can read what's on that note. You might have to pause the video to get it. But I've been writing these on a piece of A4 paper. You can basically write out 6 of them on one piece of paper. You cut that into sections and you hand them out to people. You go into a gas station to buy gas, go into a supermarket to buy food, or maybe you just come out to a park or go somewhere, and under windshield wipers are always a good option. But folks, you know, there's a lot of mainstream people that seem to be pushing back against this. A lot of doctors speaking out. A lot of the sheep are still brainwashed and programmed. I mean, you know, that's just the way they are. The sleeping masses are the sleeping masses. And they will go with the flow. But we can get to a lot of them through little actions like that, handing out notes, putting things under windshield wipers. You might put, you know, under 100 windshield wipers, and only 10 of them actually go and search the sites and get the information. But even if 10 people do it, then 10 people do it. And if those 10 people then share that with more information and share it with other people, then it grows. I tell you what, for all the people who, I don't know, he seems to get a lot of flack, but for all the people who don't seem to appreciate what he does, Jeff Berwick from the Vigilante has been knocking it out of the park with some of the videos he's been putting out regarding this whole plandemic and everything that's happening. The video that he put out yesterday had a great little section in it which showed what happens when you simply multiply things exponentially. And I might even steal that little bit out of his clip and I might put it in here for you so you can just see how this works. And it's a wonderful little clip. So check this out.
This is an old story, but it reminds us of the surprises we can get when even a small number like 2 is multiplied by itself many times. King Shahram of India was so pleased when his Grand Vizier Sisa-Bendar presented him with a game of chess that he asked Bendar to name his own reward. The request was so modest that the happy king immediately complied. What the Grand Vizier had asked was this: that 1 grain of wheat be placed on the first square of the chessboard, 2 grains on the second square, 4 on the third, 8 on the fourth, 16 on the fifth square, and so on, doubling the amount of wheat on each succeeding square until all 64 squares were accounted for. When the king's steward had gotten to the 17th square, the table was well filled. By the 26th square, the chamber held considerable wheat, and a nervous king ordered the steward to speed up the count. When 42 squares were accounted for, the palace itself was swamped. Now fit to be tied, King Shahram learns from the court mathematician that had the process continued, the wheat required would have covered all India to a depth of over 50 feet. Incidentally, laying this many grains of wheat end to end also does something rather spectacular. They would stretch from the Earth, beyond the Sun, past the orbits of the planets, far out across the galaxy to the star Alpha Centauri, 4 light years away. They would then stretch back to Earth, back to Alpha Centauri, and back to the Earth again.
So you can put it through your calculators, whatever you want. What I just said, pretty much if everyone just did that within a couple weeks, most people in the world will at least have heard this information. Some people still might not get it, but as more and more people are talking about it, the crowd effect starts to work.
So you see what I mean, folks? That's what can happen if you just share information. All you have to do is share it with 2 people, get 2 people to listen. And if those 2 people can get another 2 people to listen, then it doubles. Then it just became 4 people. And if those 4 people get another 4 people, then it doubles and it becomes 8 people. And you don't have to do that too many times before the information gets out there. It's really quite easy to spread information virally if we use this method. You know, we shouldn't even be using that term virally, should we? You know, it's an interesting program because we only use that word virally because we think that means it goes everywhere all at once, but that's not how viruses work, is it? Viruses themselves are a myth. But yeah, isn't it interesting to see how so many of the elites are locked down as well. So many people in the pop industry, they're realizing they've just been useful tools, useful pawns. Pop industry has been an interesting thing, hasn't it? The pop industry and the music industry, the entertainment industry that I was involved in for so many years until I found out really what it was all about, has really been used to distract people, just so they don't notice what's going on. And you look at the pop industry, I mean the pop industry, the whole modern pop industry basically started with Top of the Pops, which was Jimmy Savile and the Beatles. I mean, in the 60s, Jimmy Savile and the Beatles was the pop industry. And they spread out to everywhere else. And then the whole music industry moved over to the United States, and LA was the source of all of that. And, you know, most of what we see from there came out of Laurel Canyon and all that sort of stuff. There's a friend of mine called Mark Devlin, who's done some great work on that. Musical Truth. He's put out a couple of books, done a whole bunch of videos and some lectures. He's a good guy. And he's shown how all of this Laurel Canyon stuff all happened. I'm not sure whether he's gone into the whole Jimmy Savile thing and the Beatles and Top of the Pops. He probably has. I mean, that's his background. He is British after all. But that's where it all started, you know, and it was all designed to lead to this point. And they give these pop stars, Miley Cyrus and, you know, all these people, they give them masses of fame and fortune and all the glory so they can revel in it for a while. But then comes the lockdown and it's all over. And suddenly they're under lockdown as well. And they're going to be pulled to pieces through the collapse of this monetary system if they haven't got their finances invested in heavy metals or in precious metals or in cryptos or something. They're all going to be hung out to dry through this financial crash as well. They don't mean anything. They were just used to distract people. You get the ride on the ride for a while, but then the ride is over. The ride is over. You know, but we've got a huge opportunity with this, folks. If people start pushing back, break the lockdown. You know, there's so many mainstream people that are realizing this now. They're realizing that they're just as expendable as everybody else. And they don't have to, you know, do what they're doing anymore. They don't have to continue it because in the end it isn't going to matter. In the end they're going to be subject to the same laws, to the same stringent guidelines and the same starvation as everybody else. See, that's the thing, folks. It's the coming famine that they don't want you to notice. You know, why do you think they've done so much to destroy crops over the last few years? And all those tornadoes through the agricultural section of the United States. You can't tell me that's not done by design. And yes, folks, they can control the weather. It's just the way it is. There's a channel you could look at called Weather Wars 101 that's got a lot of good stuff on it. And yeah, there's a lot of people have been talking about it. Mike Morales is another good channel. You can go and check him out. He's always talking about how they can control the weather, and they do. So, you know, just pay attention, folks. But famine is their preferred choice. And a lot of these elites, these Miley Cyrus's, the president's advisors, all of these people, they're probably realizing, hang on, you know, I haven't got my ticket to the underground bunker where all the safe zones are and all the food stores are. I don't have any of that. How come I've been left out? How come the whole financial system is going down and all of my wealth with it? And everyone's just running out and jumping ship and leaving us here. And I think they're kind of getting it, folks. And that presents a huge, huge opportunity for all of us. Because, you know, everything we've been saying for years, it's now here, right on the table. Right on the table, folks. So many people can see it. So yeah, I'm going to finish the video here. But after the video, I want you to see a clip by Larken Rose. This is something that he put out the other day. If you're not familiar with Larken Rose's stuff, you should go and check out his stuff. He's written some great books. And his dry humour and his brutal honesty is an absolute joy to listen to. I mean, sometimes he can be a little harsh, I suppose. You know, some people might view him as being a little brusque. But, you know, he certainly doesn't pull any punches. And this was also included in one of Jeff Berwick's clips the other day. But Larken really says it so well in about 3 minutes. And the look at the end was what got me. It's the look at the end. I got to share the whole thing. So I'm gonna finish the clip here. I'm gonna finish what I have to say here. I do urge you to go back and look at the video that I put out yesterday. And I do urge you again to look at these, the concept of putting these notes, you know, under windshields and just, you know, handing them to people at shopping centres, just anybody you happen to talk to. I was out on the lookout yesterday and I kind of slyly handed one to the people at the lookout, and I kind of leave them on windscreens around the place so that, you know, perhaps people will just search. Perhaps they'll see things for themselves, because that's what we need. I mean, I think they've pushed too hard, and I think by Bill Gates, the hubris of the man, posting that, you know, spirit cooking woman, Marina Abramovic, I mean, promoting her right at this time, I mean, how much hubris does he have? Oh, by the way, I'm a Satanist. Yeah, I want to save the world, but I'm a Satanist, and I support this child abusing whore. I'm going to call her an artist. I'm going to promote her to the world and say she's the next best thing. I mean, what was he thinking, folks? I mean, he's really done us a huge favour with that. And a lot of people will be saying, oh no, it wasn't Bill Gates because Bill Gates stepped down from Microsoft. He resigned as the CEO. Yeah, of course he did. But he's still got a big say in what the company does, folks, and I'm sure he was very, very involved with that. But I'll leave it for there, folks. I'm snowed under with messages and emails on Facebook, and it takes me so long to open messages on Facebook, and it's just so difficult to keep up to the amount of information I've got coming in. So I'm so sorry for people who are waiting for email responses. It's a really, really difficult time. There's a lot of stuff going on, and I do apologize about that. But thank you for the messages that you send me. Thank you for the support and the kind words you give me. Welcome to all the new subscribers. The channel's really been going off, and so a lot of people are getting the information, and that's good. Don't know how long I'm going to last, folks. I mean, you know, they're kind of slapping me on the wrist at the moment for what I'm doing, and I'm not really pulling any punches. I'm just putting it out there, you know, holds barred, you know, to hell with the consequences. So, you know, I think it's an important time, and I thank all the people that have stood by me for so long. If I do disappear, well, you know, go to BitChute, you'll find me there. You know, the information will still get out there, but if the channel does go down, which I wouldn't be surprised, and I'm surprised it's still up, but if it does go down, you'll find me on BitChute. But even with that, even saying that, I mean, I think there are people working behind the scenes that know what's going on now. A lot of people are going to break ranks, folks. I said to you many times that a lot of people are going to break ranks when they really see the writing on the wall and realize that they don't matter either. Many of them are going to break ranks, and I think that's what we're beginning to see. So this is a time of huge opportunity, ladies and gentlemen. So don't lose faith, don't lose hope, and get out there and grow food. Put in and grow as much food as you can. They're shutting down all the meatworks, all sorts of stuff, folks. That's the tool they're going to use. They intend to just run out and leave everybody to starve. So, you know, we've got to pay attention to what's happening, folks. Now's the time to really get involved in your community, really support the people around you, and share information. Share as much information as you can to whoever will listen. And even if they won't, if you just perhaps drop notes under windshield wipers and drop them in letterboxes and stuff like that, certainly can't hurt. But thank you for tuning in today, folks, and thank you to all the people who send me so many kind messages. Thank you to all the people who support me on Patreon. That's the only thing that keeps this message going out, folks. Do check the links I've got below, and I'll look forward to speaking to you next time. And enjoy this clip that I'm about to tag on the end here of Larken Rose, and go and subscribe to his channel and share that little clip as well. In Lakesh.
How to Be a Successful Tyrant. It's my first book. I finished writing it in 2005, and it came out in 2006, so I finished writing it 15 years ago. It's currently out of print. I'm working on getting the second edition back into print. Thought I'd give a dramatic reading of one little part of it. This is Chapter 2, Exploiting Fear. From the beginning, subheading, Fear as a Tool. Now, keep in mind, this is written as a manual for someone trying to be a tyrant. So when it says you, it's talking to somebody trying to be a tyrant. Almost all oppression via propaganda is based upon scaring people and then presenting a false choice where the people can choose either to do what you want them to do or face some unknown, often purely fictional horror. This is not the method of the common thug, which can be summarized as, do this or I will hurt you. A successful modern tyrant never presents himself as the thing to be afraid of, as doing so would obviously create resentment and hatred in the peasantry, and that leads to resistance. Every thing to be feared, or TTBF, with which you terrorize your peasants must be presented as some separate outside evil that only you can save them from. You must present the simple choice between obedience to you and the threat of some unpleasant happening, which does not appear to be of your doing and which you pretend to lament the existence of. In short, you must deceive and scare the citizens into voluntarily giving up their freedom. Quote, the people never give up their liberties but under some delusion. End quote, Edmund Burke. A simple example would be making up a plague of some sort, assuring people that millions are doomed to die, and then claiming that giving you a lot of money and control is the only hope of averting disaster. Or perhaps, instead of making up a disease, you can pick a real disease, grossly exaggerate the risk it poses to the peasants, whip them into a frenzy, and then present yourself as their only hope for salvation, which, of course, will require you to be given much wealth and power. Recent history gives many examples to build upon, such as AIDS, anthrax, mad cow disease, etc. Even the common flu can be used to spread alarm and panic in the peasantry.